Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too. Because you're watching content like this, the name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe it takes a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience in order to create the life that you choose, right? What I'm discussing today is one of the biggest struggles that I've had in life. Now, I want to preface this by saying, I believe that in order for us to truly understand who we are and to truly get to the next level, the next version, and kind of just bring out that best version of ourselves at any given time, the number one thing that we have to do is understand who we are, right? Not shy away from it, not ignore it, not look the other way from it, because that's the kind of automatic response that we have when we see things in life that we don't like, or we see parts of ourselves that we just don't want to believe that is a part of ourselves. We kind of may just push it to the side and ignore it, right? But I find that when we truly dive in and say, okay, this is me, this is who I am, this is something that I struggle with, right? And this is something that I probably need to overcome. That's when we truly make those breakthroughs and things start working out in our lives and the path gets more clear. The people around us become better. We have a more positive attitude. A complete shift happens on the inside of us that is not available to us until we're truly able to see, well, what are those things, right? Sometimes we focus a lot on the symptoms of the struggle as opposed to the struggle itself. So if I was to sit here and say one of my biggest struggles in life is anxiety, right? It's not anxiety. Anxiety was the result of many of the things that I was ignoring and not giving attention to over time. And because you don't give attention to something or ignore it, it's still festering and developing on the inside of you, and it's still running your life to some degree. Right? And so that's where things like the symptoms like anxiety comes out, or either anger comes out, or either, aggravation or sadness or loneliness, right? Or hopelessness comes out. But that's not, when people say I struggle with sadness, no, you're struggling with something that you're refusing to see as is. So therefore you're sad about that thing. Sadness is not just something that just sits there and appears. There's always a root cause for the reason why we have these certain things, these symptoms that are coming from the outside, right? So for myself, I can look at this and say my biggest struggle in life, and I would say number one, there may be other ones, but I'm figuring this life thing keeps on going. So therefore, there will be more things that keeps on popping up over time, right? It's going to be not trusting myself, right? So we can just sit around and talk about where it comes from, how it developed over time, and all of those things may be good, because I do like to go back and get some introspection on, like, when did I stop trusting myself and why did I not? But every time I've been in a situation or a circumstance where I was turning away from what I knew intuitively about that environment, I've been bogged down with either anger, I've been bogged down with anxiety. Those are the two that's really had a hold on me at different times in my life. Anger and anxiety. And if I was to walk around and just think like, oh, it's just the anger, it's just the anxiety, then I'm never really getting to the root cause of the issue. And for me, I feel like the root cause at this point in my life, with the wisdom and the knowledge that I have, is that it was not trusting myself. And when I say not trusting, I think a lot of us deal with that issue of just being brought up. And I made a video about this a long time ago. Like, it's a simple thing, a simple circumstance when it happens, right? Like, say you're in an environment and you're a kid and you're like, this adult is not right. This adult has issues. This adult is not looking out for our greater good. This adult is not a good person and I don't want to be around them. Kids are really good at that, right? For a kid, it may come out like, these people are stupid. This adult is stupid. This person is stupid. You don't have the vocabulary or the wisdom to share what's truly going on. And what happens is when you take it to the other adults in your life, or you take it to the people that are supposed to be in charge or whatever, they tell you, oh, you're just a kid. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just complaining. You're just whining. You don't get it. And so that's where this kind of stuff begins. Another simple one I used to always use was, when you tell somebody that you're hungry, and when you're a little kid and they're like, you're not hungry, you just ate. And you're like, wait, I'm pretty sure that on the inside of my body, I feel hunger, right? But they're like, no, you're not, you just ate. What's happening is that the adult does not want to acknowledge that they need to give you more food, or you want more food, or your body's craving more food, right, in that moment. And instead of doing that, they'd rather tell you that what you know you're feeling on the inside is something else. And this happens to us a lot. And the big term that we have for it is gaslighting, right? So when people gaslight you, that's when you begin to stop trusting yourself. So you get into situations or circumstances and you start to have relationships and all this sort of stuff. And I've been very guilty of this, to where you feel one way about this person and their actions and what they're doing, but they're presenting a very precise and curated and pretty picture. But on your intuition is telling you something is off with that, something is off with that, something is off with that. But because you've been trained so heavily and you've allowed that training to continue on as you've gone into young adulthood and adulthood, you meet people and you like what they present to you, you let it be. And you like, even though you feel something deeper, you feel like, something ain't right, something is a little off or whatever. We stop trusting ourselves and we still allow these people into our lives and our space, right? I was just having this conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and I was like, I don't know how many times I've coaxed myself into doing something that really wasn't sitting right with me because I didn't trust my first reaction or my intuition about what was gonna come. And a lot of us can get this confused with like self-doubt and not wanting to try for something, not wanting to go for something, procrastination, laziness. But if you know those things are not your issue, laziness is not an issue I have, procrastination is not an issue I have. Like, these are things that I don't have, and I'm not trying to ever get out of anything that's going to help me grow and expand and, create, right? So when you have these feelings, you can't tell yourself, oh girl, you just don't want to do that. Nah, there's a reason. There's a reason why you don't want to do it. There's something that you're picking up on. There's an energy or an insight that you collected in all these years that you've been on this earth, and this wisdom that you've collected. There's something that you've tapped into. And when we don't trust ourselves, we just push it to the side because either other people are telling us that we're worrying too much, or other people are telling us don't think about that or don't think about this. And you have to know yourself and know that I'm not an overreactor. I'm not a worrier, right? I'm not a person that just gets all up in a hoopla about everything that happens around me. So when something is confronting me and I'm just like, this just doesn't feel right, we have to be willing to say, I trust myself, right? This has been huge for me in relationships in the past. It always has been. It's like if someone was presenting a certain image or an idea to me, I would be like, well, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me kind of looking at it like this or that. And then eventually what I was believing and what I was knowing about the person very intuitively came out. It eventually spilled out and there was no getting away from it. It's like, this is it. I saw it in the beginning and I didn't trust myself and I let this go on longer. And now I have a deeper connection to this negativity that I let, fester, right? And so that's something that will hold us back in just about every area of our lives, right? For me, that's my particular focus. That's my struggle. It's like, trust yourself. When something seems the way it is, and it's like, and it doesn't seem like what you believe it should be, and you're getting certain attitude and energy from it, you have to learn to trust that, okay, I may have in the past let go of this intuitive messages that was coming to me about these people or this place or whatever. But I know myself well enough to know now that if it's something that's pulling me back from it, then it's something that I shouldn't go do. Because I know the difference between something telling me this is not going to be right and then something telling me get outside of your comfort zone and go ahead and do it. There's an excitement and a lightness to those sort of things. But when it's something that I know is not going to work for me and I might be lying to myself about it or whatever, there's a heaviness that comes along with that. So it's like we have to really learn how to get to know who we are and get to know what our biggest struggles are. So that way we can conquer those things or either work well with them or work beyond them and then become the version of ourselves that creates these amazing lives that we're living, that we want to continue to live, right? Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.